But in the case that we talk about upstate, they had relocations. In 6 weeks, we had them down, eliminated, and all transferred to one location.
Right.
With no loss of revenue.
Wow, really?
No loss. So we eliminate two overheads and kept the same revenue incoming.
That is tremendous.
So other cases, you go in and boost the productivity first, and once you get productivity up, then you go back to, after that, you look at how do you reduce operating costs. So it's each business so uniquely that you don't know exactly how you go do it, but you do start analyzing the business, and you wind up either reducing cost or increasing sales. And ultimately, you do both of them.
Right, right. Are there some business that you've helped use yourself, Harold, to model some model business that you've taken some aspects from, or any books, anyone you've turned to? Do you have any mentors in the small business coaching or in the business coaching world that have really helped focus you, or is it truly from practical experience of your own?
Practical experience and observing. I look at the major corporations and pick things that they've done that I feel that made them very successful.
Sure.
And seeing what of those I can adapt to a small business operator.
What are some examples of those?
Well, one of the ones I look at is McDonald's.
McDonald's, yes.
Nobody have ever told me McDonald's had the best hamburger they have ever ate.
Right.
But what McDonald's have is the most consistent hamburger they've ever ate.
Right, right.
So consistency is extremely important in developing a company. I look at Warren Buffett. Again, I can't do all the things he can, but the one thing he's consistent said that he only invests in things and do things in which he understands.
Right.
So when you're doing a business, you should keep to the areas in which you well understand.
That's a very good point. Absolutely.
So, yes,
stick with business that you have some familiarity of
and knowledge of.
Sure. Well, I've never done that, but that's a smart that's a smart way to do, I'm sure. Yes.
And the other thing I like to do, I like to particularly invest in an area in which I know of. I see a lot of people want to go across state line, go across the country, get involved in things that where they don't understand the market as well as they do here.
Right.
It seems like the grass is always a little greener over the state line.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bet.
And things.
How do you counsel folks to, I mean, you just practically say you shouldn't do that. You need to stay away from that. I've seen it in other instances where it just doesn't work.
In general, sometimes I'm overpowering.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Not good, but that's my personality.
Yeah, sure. Get it across one way or another. Just make sure they hear you.
And in general, if you can sit down and lay it out and they're committed to improving, if you can explain it to them in a logical manner, you very rarely have any resistance in getting people to do it.
Right, right.
The problem with too many owner-operating business, they want to do it their way, and logic is not a part of it.
Right. Oh, I bet. Absolutely. I'm sure that comes into play. I hate to say it. I'm probably a great example of that many times in the past, just finding things you want to do, not necessarily being the most logical way to go, just things you really want to do.
You see this more often than you would like to. Unless they are committed to changing, it, no matter what we're counseling on, it won't work.
Harold, we had a guest on the show yesterday, and after the interview, he was talking about SCORE. We talked a little bit about SCORE during John Bonsignor, and he actually said he counsels with you sometimes on a separate world. On the nonprofit side, you've gotten real active. I think he said you chair one of the active committees. You've been a past president of the Grand Strand chapter, Chapter 381, which I think recently won a big place nationally of SCORE chapters around the country. Share with viewers about what prompted your involvement with SCORE and what it's all about.
Well, I started back working with SCORE back in the late 80s, worked with them about 7 years until I bought Fortune Academy. And at this time, I did not have the time to volunteer. I started back about 5 years ago prior to selling Fortune.
Right.
Being a member of SCORE. Actually, I haven't chaired that many committees. Definitely had not been president.
Okay, forgive me. That's right. I don't want to attribute that to John Bonsignor. That was me. Yeah.
I think one of the greatest compliments I did, we got an advisory board started this year, made up of several different people. We got bankers on it, chambers of commerce, educators on it, newspaper people, small business people. We've got 11 members on the board.
Tremendous.
To help direct and find ways that we can serve the community better.
Right. A good advisory board there.
Good advisory board.
That's wonderful, and they've helped really kick off some things. Of course, SCORE is its aspect as counselors to America's small business.
Correct.
I believe we've had quite a few guests over the last 5 or 6 years on the show who have been active volunteers, along with yourself on SCORE or with SCORE. It's a tremendous organization.
Yes. Again, the difference in the SCORE part is everything we do through SCORE is volunteer work.
Right.
We are counselors versus, and the difference as we define counselor versus consultant.
Right.
A counselor can sit down and discuss with them and do things, but they cannot actually come in and do any work for them. They can't write their business plan, or they can't sit down and do anything for the company. They can consult with them only, where a consultant can actually come in and do some work.
Right, sure.
I think so.
And you get your hands dirty when you take on clients, Harold. You actually get in there, and the only way, I guess, to truly learn a business and to find where the skeletons are is to get your hands dirty.
You have to get your hands dirty. Many a time when you get into the consulting area, you actually got to deal with the personality of the owner first. Before you can start dealing with the business itself.
Good point.
Because you cannot separate the business and the personal persons cannot be separated.
Right. Very good point.
So as a counselor with SCORE, we don't get so much involved with the personal issues and the financing. The one upstate, I got involved with how they handle their credit card problem, how they handle the real estate outside of the business, and how whatever it takes to get them turned around to be profitable.
Sure.
And to get the distractions out of their life so they can concentrate on how to run their business.
That's tremendous. mbscore.org if a viewer wants to go online and learn more about the Grand Strand chapter 381 of SCORE. Of course, again, Proformance Plus, Harold at proformanceplus.biz. A viewer can send you an email if they've got some questions or give you a call, which is great. Of course, we thank Harold for you so actively out there either volunteering for SCORE or doing small business coaching there. What do you do for fun? How do you have time to wind down a little bit?
Well, actually, that is fun. When you can see you're doing something that changed a person's life around, that is about as good as life gets.
Right.
Although I does have a pontoon boat, we go out on the waterway and deal. The last 2 months we've been out of town over about 4 weeks on traveling to different locations.
So, am I correct? You went to Alaska recently?
1st of June.
1st of June, so in the last 90 days. Yeah, what was that? Or in the last 60-some days. What was that trip like?
It was sort of a trip of a lifetime. It's so different. You can look at pictures. People can tell you about it. The closest thing I can compare it to when looking at it is you see pictures of the Grand Canyon.
Right.
But when you see the Grand Canyon, it's nowhere. That in the picture just can't find it. Life's the same way. All the picture, all the explanation, until you see it, you can't realize how massive it is and how sparsely it's populated.
Right. And who's going on all these trips with you, Harold?
My wife.
Sylvia. Yes, that's great. Good. So the two of you make a dynamic duo on trips around and y'all have been heading out to the mountains and otherwise taking some good trips recently.
Yeah, we've been up in the Maggie Valley, North Carolina, just got back from Chicago.
So you do know how to wind down.
Oh, I have no problem semi-retiring.
Semi-retiring, that's right. And how about Tom Mazer? He's still staying busy.
He's staying busy. He's recovering from a little health problem, but he's getting stronger.
Good. He has been chairing the foundation of Horry Georgetown Technical College, the foundation board there, year after year, something that I think was set up. It recently was named the auditorium there at the Grand Strand Campus Conference Center was named the Thomas C. Mazer Auditorium, which was tremendous.
That was a great honor for Tom, and the fact that he has contributed so much back to the community.
Right.
I think the great thing that Tom and I like is we're at an age of life that we can give back to the community and still have a little time to do what we need to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Harold, who's been your biggest inspiration? Is there anyone out there, anything that helps drive you, really inspire you to continue to be as strong as you are?
I don't think so. I think it's the thought of, I've seen so many retired people that pull up a rocking chair and they seem to shut their brain off, they don't do anything physically, and deteriorate very fast. And I think part of it, living to be longevity, is keeping both the physically and an active mind going.
Right. Great words. Harold, thanks so much for being with us this morning. Sorry we've run out of time.
It's been a pleasure, Greg.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to A Little More Carolina People with Harold Swanner, the co-founder of Proformance Plus, small business consultant, coming up next. Who better to coach you in your small business, oftentimes an owner-occupied business? Think about it. Who better coach? Who could there be out there? Look at that track record, 40 years in business. Arriving here in 1985, 23 years ago, and think about those experiences for him for 10 years when he created Coastal Business Brokers and grew that. But think about involving himself with all these small businesses, seeing the ups and downs of owner-occupied businesses, small businesses in this area, finding the things that really made him tick, finding things that didn't make him tick, and then taking one of his own clients and saying, I want to help grow this company. I'll take it off your hands. One location, one instructor, one administrative person back in 1995, and taken to what Fortune Academy's become, and ultimately will continue to grow in this area. Think about that, December 1st, 07, when he stepped out and opened the doors to Proformance Plus. They got a tremendous opportunity ahead of them. You can give them a call at 843-446-8666. If you're an owner-operator and need some help in growing your business, developing the program that you've got there, take the time to give them a call or send them an email at harold@proformanceplus.biz. Harold Swanner, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
It's been great to be here, Greg.
Absolutely, Harold. Great to get you in.